Gautam Gambhir is already getting into his work as an Indian coach.
Now, there's been so many developments with the new India squad that is traveling to Sri Lanka, and one of them is Shubman Gill being the vice captain in both the formats. Let's start off with the T20 format. We personally don't think Shubman Gill makes the squad, so it's a bit surprising that he has become the vice captain. Someone like Ruturaj Gaikwad, who's been more consistent over the years in the international arena and in the IPL, according to us, should have been picked ahead of Shubman Gill. Even in the recent IPL, Ruturaj Gaikwad averaged more than 50 with a strike rate of 140, whereas Gill averaged 38 with a strike rate of 140. If anything, these stats only show us that Ruturaj Gaikwad has done better in the T20 format as compared to Shubman Gill. Now, that's about Shubman Gill. Now, the logical step after Rohit Sharma stepping down from the T20 format would be either Hardik Pandya as captain or Surya Kumar Yadav as captain. It's great to see Sky taking up the role. He's 33, which means by the time we have the next T20 World Cup, he'll be 35. He'll be a lot more experienced. And the reason Hardik Pandya misses out is because Gautam Gambhir wanted a stable captain. With Hardik Pandya having so many injuries lately and him playing both the white ball format, the safer option for the Indian team to get a stable captain was in the form of Surya Kumar Yadav. And because he's the best T20 player in our country, it was just the right thing to do.
Now, coming to the ODI setup, I think over there it was completely fine for Shubman Gill to become the vice captain. The thought process is very clear, right? He's someone who's been around and is more established in the ODI setup. And considering the fact that the next World Cup will be in 2027, there's enough time for them to groom Shubman Gill. 2 years as a vice captain and then as a captain for the 2027 World Cup. At least that's how I see it. Now, a question we can raise is why someone like a KL Rahul, who's also been vice captain before, was not chosen as the vice captain for this tour as well. And I think a very logical answer to that is that KL Rahul's career has been so up and down and there's been so many uncertainties. I feel like the Indian management and just BCCI in general are not still willing to take a bet on KL Rahul for the 2027 World Cup.
Now, one thing we get with Gautam Gambhir being the coach is that he's not shy from taking stern decisions. Before the series started, he publicly talked about how he would want a full strength squad, and this is what we got. With Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli playing the ODI series is exactly what the Indian team needs, because we don't have a lot of one-day international before the Champions Trophy in 2025, and so it does make sense to have them in the setup, because then you know what your core team looks like and you know what the balance of the team would look like, and having the best two players in the country in your playing 11 would only bring out good outcomes.
Now, I think one of the most interesting developments in this squad was Riyan getting picked not only for the T20Is but also for the ODI squad. We feel like that was a bit of a surprise, but there's two ways in which we can look at this, right? Firstly, maybe they're looking at Riyan Parag as a potential number 3 or number 4 for India in the future, and they want him in the squad so that he can be groomed by the seniors. You know, Virat and Rohit are still around, and there's going to be a lot of knowledge exchange while Riyan Parag is in a squad like that. So that is one angle, and the other angle, of course, also involves Rinku Singh coming in. Rinku Singh did not make the ODI squad, which means that there's also potential that Riyan Parag is being looked at as a potential finisher for India. The only thing that puts Riyan in a slight advantage is the fact that he can ball a bit, and obviously it's probably too early to make any kind of decision or make any kind of assumption on what these guys are going to do, but at the moment it feels like Riyan Parag is being given a shot, and maybe he's going to be given a decently long run. And the fact that Rinku Singh was dropped seems slightly questionable considering the fact that he's always delivered in T20 internationals. It was definitely a logical step for Rinku to also eventually progress to the ODI squad, but it seems like they're not going with that angle as of now, which doesn't make any sense.
Now, one of the most surprising picks is Harshit Rana being picked in the ODI and not the T20 squad. If you look at his stats, he doesn't have the most impressive list A stats. He's played 14 matches with 22 wickets, and in the last season he played 5 matches to get only 5 wickets. That definitely would have been a Gautam Gambhir influence, because he would have seen something at the KKR camp to pick Harshit Rana in the ODI. But just the surprising bit is that Siraj still makes it in the T20 format, whereas Harshit Rana gets dropped. It would have been a great chance to pick Harshit Rana, who did perform well in the IPL. Even though Siraj did well in the T20 World Cup, I think it was about time we moved on from him.
Now, some quick things to think about before we close out the video is, of course, Ishan Kishan still not getting a spot in the squad, whereas Shreyas Iyer does make a comeback. Ravindra Jadeja is definitely out of the white ball setup now, it feels like. I think he's only going to play tests from here on out. And the last thing is, was Jasprit Bumrah a potential captain? I feel like the answer to that is probably a no, considering the fact that he's a fast bowler and there's going to be workload that comes into the picture. In test matches, maybe, but for now, I think Rohit's holding fort there.
This has been our video. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share and subscribe, all that good stuff. All of our links are in the description below. We feel like Gautam Gambhir's reign as coach can go two ways. Either he would do a Greg Chappell or a John Wright. We'll only find out by the end of it. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.